Good evening, Star Wars fans. Coming to you live this Wednesday evening. As always, I'm DTartagOne, also known as DTartagOne. The man to, well, at least my right, is the one and only host of, well, he's the co host of the Bad Deck Breakdowns with a top four finalist in the game PC,
Yeah,
Matt Lutz himself. And joining us tonight is Mr. Ming Hao. How are you doing tonight, Ming?
I'm doing very well, thanks.
I'm so glad to have another Steelers fan on the show after last week's just terrible showing from a Packers fan.
I mean, there's so few of us left now.
Right? I mean, okay. Outside of Pittsburgh, I know there's you, there's myself, there's Lenny, there's Ryan Saracen. I can't think of anybody else. I feel like it's the world against us.
Yes, that's true. Everyone's out to get
that
it.
that sounds like a decent number of people actually for like a particular football team.
No, there should be more.
There should be more.
There
Okay.
should always be more for the Steelers.
I actually had some Steelers clothing for a long time, and then I had a hat, and I'd be like walking around the streets at midnight, and somebody would walk up to me and be like, "Did you see the game last night?" And I'd be like, "Dude, it's 2:00 in the morning. I don't want to talk to you." And then I stopped wearing sports clothes, and yeah.
No, that'll do it.
Maybe you should start wearing Star Wars clothes. People would ignore you even more. So tonight's episode is going to be a fun one. We got the usual stuff that we do. So we're going to talk about Mings, talk about some of the projects he's working on. We've got Swing and a Miss. We got some good ones for those, and we'll see what else is brewing in the world of Star Wars CCG. But let's start with Ming. Ming coming on first time is having you on. We said it before. You're members of the graphics team, and you're relatively new to the graphics team. So, what are some of the projects you've done for the team so far?
For graphics, actually not a ton. I kind of came in at the tail end of set 13 and actually set 14. So there's a few images that I kind of worked on. So not a ton yet for graphics, but I've been more working on I suppose it's the marketing side, a lot of the banners and stuff that we throw up on Twitter and Facebook and of course the pins. So that's been pretty fun.
So here, showing everybody. So really quick. So if you're not on Facebook, here's an example of one of Ming's works. He actually created the fifth Gen PC banner. You've also created a few other ones. We're going to be waiting to spoil those ones a little later on. You did the set 13 banner that was on here before that I used for a few of the packs that we gave out. So yeah, you've done a lot for the banners and everything and the pins. I mean, I got my pins behind me, so.
No, it's been great. I mean, the set 13 banner was pretty easy. I mean, all the graphic assets were already there. I basically just threw them onto a background. But the set 14 banner is pretty great if I may say so myself. I know that hasn't quite been spoiled yet, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
And so you said you're on the marketing team. What have you done for like marketing? Is it just specifically the graphics so far?
So I came in a couple of years ago when Chris Menzel kind of put out this request for help. It turns out he just wanted somebody to gather all the player data from Online Play Week. So I started out by doing that, kind of collecting everybody's information. So if you've ever sent an email to the PC with your game description, I got to read through all those. So some of them are pretty great. I really look forward to seeing those every year. So I guess from there, I kind of expanded into doing some pin design for. I think the first one was Texas Mini Worlds this past year. And that's kind of how I got my feet wet with the more um, more involved volunteer work, I'll say.
Okay. And so is this a hobby for you for like graphic design and everything? I know you and I talked a little bit about this before, but so how did you get into doing graphic design and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's let me just say I'm definitely not like super proficient at Photoshop. It's just something I kind of picked up from my dad, who is he used to work in pre-press, which is like making a magazine look really nice
Mm-hmm.
before you send it to the printer. So he was quite good at Photoshop, and he taught me little bits and pieces here and there. So it's a pretty useful tool. Kind of comes in handy when um, making marketing literature. Did a lot of that for my wife's food truck when we were still running that. So, just kind of a little thing to have on the side. It's nice that it's kind of helpful now to be able to contribute to the PC.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I suppose you could call it a hobby.
Okay. And funny enough, really quick, Joe Olson just posted this another piece of the artwork that you've, I believe, you created. You created the logo for the Outrider Cup. Is
Yeah,
this correct?
I did. Yes.
So the PC went out, and for the winning team, which was Team USA, they made hoodies for all the members. And here is Joe Olson,
I'm glad
who's
those got out already. That
so
looks really good, Joe.
so yeah. I'm glad to see that a lot of the stuff that you're making is getting out there and being distributed to the players and everything.
Yeah, we actually had a funny story about that. Um, we had a discussion about whether we could use just the American flag on that half of the Outrider.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there was some back and forth about, well, technically it's against the flag code, but does anybody care about the flag code? Um, so no, we had to kind of stylize it so that it wasn't literally an American flag.
Yeah, and it's funny because I will say this: like looking into the flag codes, there's so much that you can and can't do with it. You can't, being that it was a prize and it was a not we didn't sell it. That's one thing that you can do with the flag. So as long as you're not buying stuff for the flag that has the flag on it, you can actually use it. So good on the PC for just using it as prize support and not as something to line Scott's pockets.
Yeah.
So you've been playing Star Wars for a while now. How long have you been playing? Like, in
I think I've been playing since 2014, I want to say.
Mhm.
Like really playing for real, starting in 2014.
Okay.
Because you mainly got into it with Gemp, right?
Um, I actually came in. Um, it was me and Adam Trunzo, who lived about like 10 minutes away from me in just like super rural Wisconsin. And our wives
Mhm.
went to the same high school in the same, in that little town kind of that we both lived near. So one day we got to talking, and we're like, "Hey, did you used to collect this game from the '90s too?" And he did. So I found a tournament that was being run by Mark Walseth over in the
Okay.
cities, which is where I live now. And then I kind of brought Adam, and neither of us really knew what we were doing. So I think my first tournament, I went 0-4 with a negative 90 diff.
Kept it to 2 digits.
Yeah. But I mean, that didn't, I mean, I had a blast. So we both kind of just dove in. I think set 3 had just come out at that point. So it wasn't too big of a card pool to learn.
Okay.
But yeah,
And this is the Legacy set, or is this the more recent one?
this is virtual set 3. So
Yes, so the
current,
new because if it was 2014,
yeah.
that was post reset.
Oh my god, I feel so old by you guys just saying that because like I thought you were talking about like set like the legacy set for a second. I'm just like, what? Wow, it just feels so long ago to me.
I guess it was a while ago.
It was that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
we were young men then.
yeah, and now we're gonna be like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like going into my 40s soon. And I'm just like, do I really want to play this card game designed for kids? And I'm like,
It
wait a
says
minute,
9
why?
and up.
Yeah, and then I realized, why am I questioning myself? I have so much money put away into this game. Yes, I'm never going to stop playing this game.
Yeah, there's no turning back.
No, there isn't, unfortunately.
And even if the original game was designed for kids, which I mean isn't necessarily even true. Definitely the game now is designed for old men. So
yeah, look at Joe Olsen. I mean, it took him how long to become an old man and win worlds? so yeah, you came back in set 3 or about that time frame, so it's 2014. So you've been playing for a while with a lot of the newer cards, not like the legacy cards as we know them. So what's your take on the changes that the PC have done from when you came into it to now?
Kind of hard to say. I mean, I kind of wish I knew what it was like back in Legacy when there were no like new movies out every year and like new TV shows. Because the way it is now, you know, people are kind of expecting the PC to keep pumping out these cards based on all this new content. So, you know, it's hard to keep up, right? We obviously
they couldn't keep up with it in Legacy either.
No.
Okay, well, but I think
we never really got episode 3 themes,
right? But I don't know. I think the PC's doing a great job. I don't watch every like piece of Star Wars media out there. You know, a lot of the Rebel stuff. I'm kind of like, okay, I'll take your word for it, right? But obviously, like Mandalorian and the movies, which we won't go into. But no, I think it's been great.
Ming has opinions about Rise of Skywalker.
I have takes.
This is only an hour family friendly long show, so let's keep your hot takes to the forums.
Yeah, we'll save it for the podcast.
At one point, I was gonna say that Ming and I should do some coverage or something and just argue about the sequel trilogy films instead of actually paying attention to the game. I mean,
you know what? I'm going to say this: I would pay good money to have you guys do that, to do like an hour-long podcast and just go into some of your hot takes about the sequels.
I mean, if you ever watch my coverage, whenever I cover major events, I barely pay attention to the game anyway. Usually, I'm arguing with the chat about whether or not Wendy's is good.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's the Jawa format, you're off and doing your own special things. But no, I mean, I'm glad that you got into the game, Ming. You've been a great asset to the marketing team as well and graphics. I can't wait to see some of the stuff that you come up with. Like I said, the banners that you've been making, the pins are awesome. I'm a little jealous of the shirt, but being that Chris Kelly has one, I think I'm okay with not having one. But no, like, I mean, I think we've ran into each other in Minnesota before, so
yep,
it's been great. And so, did you? So after you got back into the game with Adam, did you play along with like the Mark Walseth crew or?
Oh yeah. Yeah, during the season, I guess he had a tournament like once a month. Couldn't make them all, but the ones that we could get to, you know, we made sure that we went. Let's see, my first event I took. I took this awful EBO that I made, and then a TTO, neither of which were like built properly.
So were
I
you
tried to
playing?
like
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, were you playing like a Chris Gogolin TTO and EBO because he loves those two decks?
I tried to like net deck stuff, but I didn't have all the cards, so I just like replaced stuff with cards that I did have. And yeah, it just didn't really work.
Now the Walseth tournaments usually are like weird formats, aren't they? Or was that just the one year?
There was just the 1 year that he did like the non, or he started with like Premiere and then worked his way up to, I think it was Virtual Set 0 by the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's interesting, but that would just be a lot of deck building.
Yeah, it was. I didn't make it to all of those, but I thought it was a pretty cool idea. I do want to give a shout out to Mark. Actually, I don't know if he's listening but I mean he's done a tremendous job up here in Minnesota, just with the play group, and he's dedicated just thousands of hours and I don't know how much of his own money into the community here. And you can see like people are really passionate about it here in Minnesota. Obviously, we hadn't had any live events in a while, but I know he's making plans to start it up as early as this summer, assuming everything goes okay.
And if you want to know more about Mark Walseth, I did a big long interview with him. Actually, it was really CRG mostly did the interviewing, but I was there on Bad Deck Breakdowns. If go to
That's a good
check
listen.
that out.
Definitely.
Yeah, nice little plug there for your podcast.
Shameless.
So I gotta ask, what's in the water up in Minnesota? Because you guys play Star Wars really well, but you also play it a lot differently than, especially like the East Coast guys, like your KTODs, your Team Fives, your Team 9,872.
I'm not really privy to that. I know there is a team up here. I haven't really joined it. I certainly really haven't been playing a lot lately. Anyway, I've got a near 1-year-old, so it's been difficult to find free time. But yeah, I mean they usually, I know they like to test a lot, and I tested with them a little bit before. I think it was the NPC last year. And it's just, I mean, they're just at like a whole other level.
Okay.
When you try to deck build by yourself, there's just things that you can't think of, obviously, and yeah, I mean, they're just really good. I don't know what else there is to say about it, but
awesome. So yeah, I'm glad to have you on, Ming. It's great to put a face to like a lot. Like it's what we're going to try and do with Holotheatre coming up. We're going to try and put a face on some of the more soft-spoken, maybe the lesser known members of the community who volunteer. So Ming, you're the first person on so we can put a face to the name Ming and give you some of the credit that you so deserved. I mean, you got
Thanks.
a Volunteer of the Year award, I believe, correct?
I did. I'm very grateful for that.
So, yeah. So, moving on really quick, we'll talk about some of the things that are currently going on in the Star Wars CCG universe. We're going to start with the GemPC. So, a lot of people watched the match today. We had Mr. CRG, Matt Lutz. He played Timo Dussel in the first of the two top 4 games. CRG won by 4. I believe the loss piles was a difference of 2. Literally, it was a game it was a very extremely close game to the end. So good to see that Matt won that game. It was a Hitco versus Hunt Down V match. So I, for one,
which side was Matt on?
Matt was the Hitco player.
Was the Hitco player? Okay, yeah, it's a coin flip, but I think is Dark Side better right now? Is that where where we've landed?
No, I think we've all landed on the fact that let's get an errata out for decks like Hunt Down V and Hitco because they're extremely boring and need to be changed.
Well, I mean, I mean that matchup is pretty tight, but I think that Darkside has, I don't know, the sense I get is that Darkside has a little bit of an edge over Lightside right now. So if CRG was able to win game 1 with Lightside, that bodes well for him. For my co-host, this top 4 is, I'm very happy to see this top 4 where I have my podcast co-host in one bracket and my teammate in the other bracket with Joker King. So,
and I was going to say, speaking of which, your teammate and Mink's teammate are the other top 2 players for the top 4, Joker King and Adam Toronzo. I believe they will be playing starting next week, but don't quote me on that. So, but yeah, we're down to our top 4 on the GIMP PC. So I'm glad to see that's moving along rather nicely. The other big thing that's currently going on is the OCS, the March OCS. Looks like we've had a few players reach the 12 games so far. Kyle Kruger and Gavin Ortland, I think that's how you pronounce his name, both got to 10-2. Kyle has a slightly better opponent win percentage. Checking out some of the other people really quick. Kendall, you're on here, right?
no,
No?
no, I was asleep that weekend. I don't know. Like with OCS, I go month to month because like
Yeah.
some months I'll want to, some months I won't. February we had the Jawa thing going on, so I didn't sign up. I was gonna sign up in March, but now it's March 10th. So
Wow.
Wow, I mean, there's a lot of 12 game guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few.
That's crazy.
I think Dylan got to 12 games on about March 3rd.
Yeah, he did. I will say this,
That guy
though.
plays a lot of Star Wars cards.
Ming, you're not signed up for the OCS, correct?
I'm not.
Well, I'm clearly holding down this cast today. Currently sitting at a good 0-0 record. So
Yeah, you're carrying us.
But I will say this: looks like everybody's getting ready for this upcoming Premiere to Death Star 2 event that's starting next month. We have 69 people signed up for the event.
Nice.
Thank you. So again, it's going to be a fun event. I hope more people sign up. Jared's putting a lot of work in for this event, so if you haven't signed up, sign up.
Yeah,
It's going to be a blast.
I think I'll be signing up for that as well.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm not in the headspace for it yet, so I haven't signed up for it. But I'm going to. I'm looking forward to playing Hidden Base X-Wings with no Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, just like Matt Sokol, my hero. It's like one of my all-time favorite decks. So I actually might float a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. I think when I talked to I have an inside source, Johnny Chu, and he recommended playing the Luke. Yeah.
I actually played that deck in the Bespin event.
It's such a fun deck. Like it's really weird because it's not super like interactive, but it's interesting to have a deck that is, and I mean, this is, I think, something that's interesting about the Premiere to Death Star 2 format is there's a balance between the sort of janky, cheesy, non-interactive shenanigans and actually, but you still have to also play fair sometimes. Why do you have to play fair sometimes? Because the jank isn't good enough.
Yeah, I mean,
like the jank isn't good enough just on its own. Like, you still have to sometimes fight them with your X-Wings.
Right.
That's fair.
Actually, is that the same deck? Yeah, except I replaced the X-Wings with Y-Wings.
Okay. They cost one less.
They do.
Of course, your already paying 0 for them because you're deploying them to rendezvous point, but that's okay.
Yeah. So not only do we have this Premiere Distro 2 event coming up, we also have online play coming up next week. I know in June, the next Jawa event is going to be coming out. So hopefully Kendall and his Jawa committee will come up with a new ban list.
In June?
Yeah.
That's an official thing?
That says so right here.
Okay. I thought the next Jawa thing was going to be July, but
June 1st to July 31st. So.
Oh, okay. So that probably is the Jawa Brawl then.
Yeah. And then hopefully in July we will have U.S. Nationals. And then in April, towards the end of April, we're also going to be having the online MPC. Not to be confused with the Gem PC. This is the official big boy MPC. So, yeah, a lot still going on this year for Star Wars CCG.
And the Corellia League starts in a couple days too.
Well, I will say this: we're going to talk about that here in a second as we go into Swing and a Miss. So I've got 5 good questions. So are you boys ready?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to start off with number 1, and I know this one's going to be a little bothersome to someone in particular, but people are tired of Hitco and Hunt Down V.
I am.
I mean,
That's 1.
It's a hit.
That's 2.
Yeah.
That was almost like a whatever baseball metaphor that it was very easy to hit.
This is
It was
this
like
is a
they lobbed
softball.
it over the plate with that one.
An easy
Right?
pitch.
That's baseball.
Yeah, I think even though I haven't really been playing a lot lately, when every match seems to be Hunt Down V versus Hitco, I don't know. I guess it says something.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is that I feel like since they announced the errata, but it hasn't come out yet, every match is Imperial Entanglements.
Yeah,
But
that's another good one too. Yeah,
but no, I think I mean, I always dodge the popular decks because I play a lot of casual and everything. But I think Worlds just soured people on Hitco and Hunt Down V, and so looking forward to the tweaks that it's getting.
Like I for one, it was funny. Like this morning, or this afternoon when I streamed the Dylan versus CRG matchup, and I see Hunt Down and Hitco, I'm just like, oh god, this is gonna be a boring, so drag out match. And it's just like, okay, this is not exciting. Where if it was like a watch your step versus set your course deck, or like a WAP versus Invasion, or even if it's like an EBO or something else, I would be like, yes, it's something different. But Hunt Down and Hitco, just like, come on.
So the question is, do you think Dylan will bust out his Rebel Strike team for the
you know what,
the second half of the match?
If Timo busts that out, I will literally like just burst out with joy.
It's a good deck. Like I actually at some we keep like scheduling other things, but like at some point I want to have him on Bad Deck Breakdowns and talk about that Rebel Strike Team deck, because it's like and I've suggested it and people are like, but it's a good deck. It's like, no, that's okay. We can talk about good decks too.
It's a good deck in Jawa in a format with like Hunt Down V and AOBS and CCT and Scum.
I mean, AOBS is legal in Jawa.
I'm just saying.
A lot of
okay, ISB.
I don't know. I don't know. I never play ISB, so, but it's a good deck. It's a good deck.
Oh, thank you, Lenny.
I agree.
Okay, moving on to question number 2. Currently at 69 people.
Nice.
The Premiere to Death Star 2 event will reach over 80 people.
I think we will. Yeah, I'll take a. Yeah. It's a hit.
I think that I think 80 is an obvious yes. I think over 90, less than 100.
Um. So I mean, we've got what today's March 10th, better known as Mario Day. We've got 21 days left in March, so I think we can get. I think people that want to play in the event already signed up. I know.
Well, I mean, Mig and I haven't signed up.
Yeah, I haven't yet.
Why
So
not?
that takes us to 71. Well, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. We should know better. We're on the show. So there's probably some other people who are extra lazy.
I'm going to say this. Lenny actually points out in in the chat that nobody wants to move it off the current number.
Yeah, I don't want to be the one to break it there.
That's a good point. So,
but no, yeah, no, I think
I hope we will. There's some good prizes.
I think 80 is easy, but I think we're gonna break 90.
Okay. Please don't say break 90.
I'm just looking for the right level of cheese to bring.
Don't say break 90. I got flashbacks from basic training.
I was never in the military, so I don't know what that means.
So moving, it's push-ups. You know, you got to break 90 degrees when you do a push-up.
Oh, okay. I haven't done a push-up in a long time.
Yeah, same here.
You can probably tell.
So moving on to number 3. So pod racing will make a comeback. Will make a comeback after people get inspiration from Worse and the bad deck breakdown.
I don't think anyone has ever listened to bad deck breakdowns and then people have listened to bad deck breakdowns and built the deck, I'm sure. I've never seen that happen with a bad deck breakdowns. I mean, this was I think it was one of our best episodes, and we really did, as opposed to focusing it on one deck, we kind of summarized every possible version of pod racing. So it might have struck, but I don't think it's gonna make people that weren't playing pod racing before play pod racing. At least not if I have anything to do with it.
So really quick, I'm sorry for Werfs for spelling your name wrong. I just noticed that. Thank you, Bill. Funny thing is, I sent this all into our little Holotheatre chat. I sent this image to everybody, and nobody corrected me. So thank you, Bill, for pointing that out.
I hope that I spell his name right.
Right?
How does he spell his name? Oh, you really spelled it wrong.
I put
one. Never mind.
Yeah. I put an I where an I shouldn't be.
Right. Well, yeah, it was a typo. I guess what I should say is it was a typo. It wasn't like he spells it with a Y or a Q or something, and I didn't know.
No, you know, I would like to see some pod racing. I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, there's shields for it. I just think that limiting yourself to one effect is kind of bad.
It's I mean, this is spoiling the end of the pod racing episode. To me, the problem is the shield doesn't do what it did in Legacy. The Legacy shield it prevented the force loss, but made it so that the retrieval was you couldn't prevent the retrieval.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was interesting. And you could play coward and then not play the pod racing shield and just take the damage and prevent the retrieval maybe, or something there was an interesting interplay there, forcing your opponent to do stuff or whatever. But with it
completely shut off the retrieval, does it?
Well, no, it does, but it's hard to have 6 force and to occupy 2 battlegrounds. I don't know. I played a handful. It's just not, I mean, because you're netting 3 cards. It's just not it's not good enough without at least really knowing you're going to retrieve. Yeah. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Pod racing is fun in that the episode 1 sealed.
I will say that pod racing I thought was really clever on the part of Decipher when they came out with it. The way that they implemented that mechanic. I don't know how do we know how popular it was when
it was
first came out?
It was in during the episode
Yeah.
1 formats. It was everywhere. Like you played pod race. If you weren't playing pod racing, you might still play pod racer, or like
Just to, like, have one in there.
yeah, you would float Sebulba's pod racer, or there's like the Watch Your Step decks would not play a pod racer, but they would play something else that did something. I don't know. It was everywhere. I mean, it needed a shield.
Yeah.
But I liked how it was balanced in the Legacy era better than how I like it now. And also, it's probably fine that it's nowhere now because it was around for so long. Like it's okay that it's not everything needs to exist for all time.
Bring back numbers to make it great. Bring back numbers.
I mean, if somebody could figure out a way to make insert cards not be broken, like the concept of an insert card is kind of interesting.
Listen, I'm not gonna bring extra sleeves for you to put your insert cards into my deck.
Yeah, well, I mean that's
a good point.
Its own.
That
That's
is
its
a
own
good
thing. Well,
point.
then just play it the way that I played it when I was a kid, and they just stick the light side card in, and you know when it's coming up.
Isn't it supposed to be random?
Yeah.
It is random when you stick it in.
Moving on. The Gem PC will end before set 14 is released. I don't know if this is putting I don't know if this is putting pressure on Chris Kelly and design or the top 4 in the Gem PC. Like I know
kind of groundbreaking if the erratas did come out like right before the finals.
That would be awesome. Yeah, get them out. Well, this round has to be done by the 18th, which would be that would be the next. Well, I guess unless they come out tomorrow, the 18th would be when the next time that things get released.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be pretty sweet if the last round of the MPC was the first match of the new meta. That's
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to insert a new meta when there's a current tournament. I will say this though, Badmouse has said he wants this tournament over by the 31st.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we get this thing done by next week? Come on, the 4 of you guys, get this done next week.
They have to play. So we have to play a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. There's 5 games left in the tournament.
4.
Yep.
No, 5. You're right.
5 total games, not even matches. Yeah, I mean, I could play 5 games tonight if I wanted to.
Yeah, but you only play for like 2 minutes and then you scoop.
I don't scoop. They scoop to me. They're like, I'm like, initiate battle. They're like, I concede.
They see the Death Star and no other
see
card
that.
on the
Yeah, they
table.
see that Death Star come down.
That's fair. Okay. Last question of the evening. Kendall will finish higher than Dan in the Corellia League, which launches this weekend.
Who else is in this league?
Yeah, that's my next question is who is in this league?
Okay, I think I have it pulled up. No, I don't, but I can get it pulled up in a second. I know that you, me, Brian, Fred, Ash Nolo, and then like those are I think those are like kind of the 4 that are in it that are kind of known. Crap. Here it is.
Okay, here we go. Here, just for everybody's frame of reference, here are the current players. So here are the current members of the Corellia League.
I've got it up. So we've got we've got Ash Nolo, we've got me, we've got Brad Iyer, we've got Tyler Butler, we've got Matthew Olms, we've got Dan, we've got Eric Hawbaker, we've got somebody named Squab, we've got Bentley Boyd, we've got his son Samuel Boyd, we've got Steve Squirlock, Brian West, and Brian Fred. So a lot of kind of newish people, but this is the Chad is another Ohio guy. and I'm really excited that we have like enough, even though it's an online league, like that we have enough people in the Corellia region that we can have an event. This is probably the first event in like 15 years
That's pretty cool.
centered around the Corellia region.
Yeah. Like, it's funny because I know nobody from Western PA signed up for this. That's funny to me. Like, apparently I'm the only person who, so the reason I'm signed up is I'm moving back to Pittsburgh at some point this year. I don't know 100% when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen soon. Matter of fact, like, I know next month I'm flying out to go house hunting.
Wow.
But this is all, so that's the reason why I signed up for this one. I'm also in the SoCal League because I'm currently in Southern California, and I'm in the North Cal League, which is currently still 2020, but that's besides the point. I'm going to say this. There was only 4 people who picked me to beat Heisenberg in the GamePC. Only one person picked me to beat Chris Gogolin. If I lose to Kendall, I will sport full on bad deck break.
Baby.
I will completely deck myself out in whatever needs to happen to support Ken. I'll go bad deck breakdown from here on out. I am not losing to Kendall Hallman here.
Oh.
I will be ready to play against 12 cards.
Yes.
The gauntlet is thrown.
You've won me over, Dan. I'm Team Dan.
Especially because Joker King's in the chat. He never bets to get on me. Like, come on.
That's some real passion.
You know, I'm gonna say
heard
this,
that from
like,
you in a long time.
I haven't played any games this month. Last month I kind of burnt myself out a little bit. This month I've been playing so much golf, it's ridiculous. But now that Kendall has thrown a gauntlet in my face, I'm going to pick up the gauntlet and beat him with the gauntlet.
Go.
We shall see. We shall see. No, I don't know. Like, I'm really excited about this event. There's kind of, there are some people on, I mean, you know, usually I play in events and I'm like, there's, you know, there's tons and tons of people that I don't think that I could beat. I think that I could, on a good day, everybody except for Brian Fred on that list, I think I could win a game.
I can beat Brian Fred.
Well, I don't know. Brian Fred.
I'm going to say, whoa, time out.
Sometimes he plays really
Texas
well.
Mini Worlds, Game 2, I beat the crap out of Brian Fred. I took him to the
Texas
woodshed.
Mini Worlds doesn't count. I beat Gogolin at Texas Mini Worlds.
Who hasn't beaten Gogolin at this point?
Yikes.
Moving on.
Let's see. Last time I played Gogolin, I think it was during the John Anderson tournament. I was playing No Idea, and he was playing Map, and I completely forgot Saw Gerrera's text where he adds 1 attrition for each of the dark side characters that they have, and Gogolin had like 10 characters on his side, and I just like completely forgot about it.
Did he battle into Saw?
Oh yeah.
I will say this though, the last person that I know specifically who lost to Gogolin was Reed Smith at the Chris Kelly MPC, the one that Chris Kelly won, and Gogolin beat Reed to get to the top 4. So I know Reed can't beat Gogolin.
Yeah, look at Reed now. Gogolin beat him into retirement.
I think that's enough for this. So, moving on really quick. We're going to talk about the deck building challenge for March. Nobody has entered this one. This one's an easy one. This is all about battling. Like, I'm expecting like players like Chris Kelly who wants to do this. Like, people, come on. Nobody's entered the March one. It's all about battling. You got until the end of March to actually enter. if you want to participate in this deck building challenge. But it's gonna be a fun one. Any of the leagues, the Premier to Testar 2, the Jawa, the Open, the OCS, anything that is on as a league on Yemp, even like the Corellia League.
What is the actual challenge?
See who can battle, who can battle the most during one turn.
Oh,
So if nobody's entered, then somebody should enter with one battle.
Right? It's not hard to enter. There's no cost. Literally, the prizes are coming out of my pocket. Take my money, people.
Yeah.
But
Take his money.
take my money. So let's move on to my favorite part of the show, and we're gonna do the infamous lore challenge. Are you ready, Ming?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So I said last week I give you one hint if you want it to be either the side or the set.
Okay.
Which would you like?
Give me the set.
Cloud City.
Okay, well,
I will say
Okay.
this. I think we're going to change it starting next week. It's either going to be the set or the type. Because nobody's going to pick side.
yeah.
Okay, your lore challenge is... Because bounty hunters are untrustworthy, the Empire relies on its troopers for efficient prisoner delivery.
That's actually not like a jokey Cloud City lore.
Right?
Good one. Could you give it to me again?
Because bounty hunters are untrustworthy, the Empire relies on its troopers for efficient prisoner delivery.
Is special delivery a card? I'm gonna say that.
Special delivery?
I don't think it's a card, but
I think it's a card.
It is 100% a card.
Is
Special
it the right
delivery is it.
Is it?
That's it.
Nice.
So you have successfully defeated the lore challenge.
Got him.
So congratulations, sir.
Impressive.
Thank you.
I think you're the first person that I've been on that got it.
Yeah, Timo, you were on for Greg. You were on for Greg, who got it.
Yeah.
So give
Awesome.
me your address and we'll get you a prize.
Yeah, man.
We'll go here. Yeah, I was gonna say because like in the chat, everybody pointed out a special delivery, and I'm just like, come on, people, give the man a chance. But yeah, so I think that's all we've got for tonight on Holotheatre. So I'm going to start off with thanking Ming for coming on as the special guest. Kendall, it is always a pleasure to have you on, and it's going to be my pleasure to take you to the woodshed in the Curlian League.
Everybody check out Bad Deck Breakdowns. And also the Brian Hunter interview. I finally posted it. So if you want to hear Brian Hunter's takes on things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? But yeah, no, I'm glad you did those. It's always great to see you doing stuff for the community, Kendall. So I am more than glad to have you have the content creator of the year from last year.
Very humbling. Very humbling.
So, but
Thanks for having me on.
next week it's going to be an interesting one because we're going to talk about player card development. So coming on as the spokesman for the player card development team will be the great Lenny Rubin.
Oh,
Lenny, who
boy.
is, I believe he's out of Virginia. He's a student of Tom Haid. He's also a fellow Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So back-to-back weeks,
Sweet.
everybody. But I will say this, though. Lenny is, if you don't know who Lenny is, you haven't been doing a event. He's fun. He's loud, and he likes to dress up in tutus.
Well, and if you want to get ready for hearing him, you dig up the interview that I did with him from last year's MPC, also on the Bad Deck Breakdowns feed.
I was also going to say Lenny actually won the Endor Grand Prix a couple of years ago, so he's a major champion. But so okay, so that's all we got for this week. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in this Wednesday. It's been a blast, and we'll see everybody next week. So until then, good night, and Force be with you, everybody.
Hey, everybody.